How did Texas quarterback commit Maalik Murphy perform during the Elite 11 finals this weekend in California? We'll get into it on today's video. What's up, guys? BK, Brad Kellner. Appreciate y'all stopping by. Today is Tuesday, July 6th, 2021. Hope everyone had a great holiday weekend. Thanks again to those men and women who fight for our freedoms each and every day. I wanted to give them some love to start this video. Please like this video if you haven't done so yet. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not done so. We talk all things Texas Longhorns here on this channel. So subscribe and tap that notification bell so you're always informed whenever I release new content. We dropped the video yesterday talking about offensive line recruiting. It was an eventful weekend for Texas in terms of recruiting. Some good news with Texas picking up a couple of commits on the offensive line for the class of 2022. Some bad news with Texas missing on some targets for the class of 2022 on the offensive line. If you missed that video, I will put a link in the description. And as I point down, you can see scrolling across the bottom of your screen, the discount code for today's video sponsor. This video is brought to you by Last Stand Hats. Check them out at laststandhats.com and use that code BK10 at checkout for 10% off your purchase of any Last Stand hat. They are the best UT hats in all of the land, officially licensed by UT as well. And Last Stand Hats already working with some of the players with name, image, and likeness after that rule was put into play last week. But not talking about that today. We're talking about quarterbacks. We're talking about the results from the Elite 11 finals that took place over the weekend in the state of California. 4 days of competition. And on Saturday, the Elite 11 coaches unveiled their list of top 12 quarterbacks out of the Elite 11. So there were 20 players in the field, and the coaching staff chose the top 12, and they released them on a list via Twitter on Saturday. And it's weird. They call themselves the Elite 11, but they put 12 guys on there. I thought that was kind of interesting. They did sort of list an MVP, and that was Cade Klubnik, Austin's own, who plays his high school football at Westlake, of course, here in the capital city. And then they mentioned 11 other names. 11 other quarterbacks made the cut for the Elite 11, and all of those guys were listed in alphabetical order. So a little bit of an interesting bit there by the Elite 11, putting 12 names on there. And once again, they mentioned Cade Klubnik first. They didn't say particularly that he was the MVP, but they put his name at the top, and then the other 11 names were listed alphabetically. 50% of the Elite 11 rankings were based on the performance at the camps, and then the other 50% was based on junior season film and performance. And Maalik Murphy, the lone Texas quarterback commit for the class of 2022 at this moment, he made the cut. He was one of the 12 players picked. And once again, there was no particular order for Maalik Murphy. He was just listed alphabetically amongst some of the other finalists. Quinn Ewers was there. You had Connor Weigman, the Texas A&M commit, is there. Nick Evers, who's committed to Florida from the state of Texas, were there. And, of course, some other names as well. So Maalik Murphy made the cut. That's the good news. And, guys, there were very, very mixed reviews regarding Maalik Murphy's performance at the Elite 11 finals. Sports Illustrated released its own rankings from what they saw at the Elite 11 quarterback finals, and they actually had Maalik Murphy as their second place finisher behind only Cade Klubnik. Cade Klubnik impressed, and we'll talk about him more in a little bit, but he was listed as the MVP for Elite 11, for Sports Illustrated, and also 24/7 Sports. But the good news for Texas, the good news for Maalik Murphy was listed right behind Cade Klubnik in Sports Illustrated's rankings for all of the quarterbacks who were in attendance in California. The interesting thing, though, and why I say the reviews were very mixed regarding Maalik Murphy, 24/7 ranked its top 11 quarterbacks that they saw at the Elite 11 finals, and Maalik Murphy didn't make the cut. Like, he was not one of the 11 names mentioned. And I mentioned there were 20 quarterbacks who were there in total. Sports Illustrated had Maalik Murphy number 2, and 24/7 Sports did not have Maalik Murphy anywhere in the top 11. So I found that very, very interesting. I was not in attendance at this event. I've watched some highlights on Twitter. I've watched some film on YouTube. I thought for the most part, Maalik Murphy did really, really well. He had a couple of beautiful deep balls down the field that were very, very impressive. You could tell this dude has an absolute cannon for an arm. He had a nice throw in the flat that led to a touchdown in some 7-on-7 drills on day 2. You might say, throw in the flat, that's not that impressive. But the biggest question for Maalik Murphy, I think, for most people is his accuracy. And it was a very accurate throw in the flat. And look, touchdowns on routes in the flat count the same as a 50-yard deep bomb. So that was good to see from Maalik Murphy. Most of what I saw was pretty good from Maalik Murphy, and you saw some of that potential. The ceiling feels sky high for the Texas quarterback commits, and I think you saw some of that on display this weekend. I'm going to read y'all the descriptions regarding Maalik Murphy's play from Sports Illustrated and from 24/7 Sports, maybe explaining their decisions a little bit for why the rankings were so different for the Texas commit. So here's Sports Illustrated talking about Maalik Murphy and how he looked this weekend. They say, quote, "The most impressive physical specimen on site. Murphy displayed one of the strongest arms of the group and surprisingly solid accuracy to pair over the week. Also gelling with his receivers and making well-timed tosses. Touch and anticipation for throwing windows should continue to progress as Murphy develops in Steve Sarkisian's offense at Texas, but the Longhorns have everything to work with when it comes to the Gardena-Sarah product." So there's Sports Illustrated talking about Maalik Murphy, and some pretty high praise there, right? The most impressive physical specimen on site, one of the strongest arms in the group. Talk about solid accuracy as well, which once again, I think most people would say that's the biggest concern for Maalik Murphy right now is that consistent accuracy. Sounds like he did pretty well in that category this week. So a lot of high praise there for Maalik Murphy. Here's 24/7 now. Their player evaluation for Maalik Murphy. Possesses a ton of raw upside and as high a ceiling as any quarterback in the region, regardless of class. Has lacked ideal production through the first 2 years of high school, but has every tool you could want in an elite quarterback and has shined in multiple offseason events. He has plus size and arm strength, is accurate to all three levels of the field, is a smart kid who understands timing and anticipation and when to take a little off his throws. Can already throw the football 70-plus yards down the field, but is more than just a big arm. He knows how to play the position. He's mobile and is comfortable throwing outside the pocket, is a highly competitive kid, a natural leader with a great off-the-field work ethic. He projects as an impact upper-tier Power 5 starter and future high-round NFL draft pick. So there's 24/7 Sports. And that comments, or those comments from 24/7, are more all-encompassing, right? You could probably tell as I was reading that. That wasn't specific to Maalik Murphy's performance at the Elite 11 camp. That was just an overall evaluation of Maalik Murphy as a recruit. But once again, according to 24/7 Sports, Maalik Murphy was not one of the best 11 quarterbacks in attendance at the Elite 11 this weekend. And that's surprising, right? Most of what I've heard, most of the research I've done online, most of the people I've talked to who cover UT said the resounding majority of folks thought Maalik Murphy fared very, very well at the Elite 11 finals. And man, the pairing, the partnership of Maalik Murphy and Steve Sarkisian excites the hell out of me because Maalik Murphy's still a little bit raw, only played 6 games his junior season of high school, a shortened season, a delayed season due to COVID out in California. And his high school numbers aren't that great, aren't that eye-popping when you look at some of the other top quarterbacks in this class. But man, the raw tools are there. Once again, potential and upside. Those are the two words that you hear the most when talking about Maalik Murphy. This guy's raw set of skills are second to not many in this class. That's for damn sure. And you pair that up with Steve Sarkisian, who is known as one of the best quarterback developers in all of college football. That could be awesome. Michael Jordan once said the ceiling is the roof. I think the ceiling is a lot higher for Maalik Murphy if he's able to reach his full potential. And you'd like to think that Sark is the guy to get the most out of Maalik Murphy. You look at some of the quarterbacks that Steve Sarkisian has worked with in the past. You go back to his days at USC. The quarterbacks coach for Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart, the offensive coordinator for Mark Sanchez. Like Mark Sanchez. Steve Sarkisian was able to turn Mark Sanchez into a first-round pick. Mark Sanchez did not have anywhere close to the athletic ability that Maalik Murphy possesses. You look at Jake Locker, you look at Keith Price at Washington, Cody Kessler at USC, and obviously what Sark did as the offensive coordinator at Alabama the last couple of seasons with Tua Tagovailoa and Mac Jones, turning both of those guys into first-round picks. Y'all saw Mac Jones at the Combine. Y'all saw that post-Natty picture of Mac Jones smoking a cigar with his shirt off in the locker room after Bama won it all this year. That guy's not the athlete that Maalik Murphy was, yet Sark was able to get the most out of Mac Jones, who was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school, by the way. And I know Alabama's different. I know the talent around Mac Jones is better, or was better, I should say, than the talent that Maalik Murphy is going to be around when he gets here to Austin. But once again, the potential of the Maalik Murphy-Steve Sarkisian partnership moving forward should excite the hell out of you, because Sark has been able to develop quarterbacks without question, but also develop quarterbacks that on paper did not have the skill sets that Maalik Murphy had. Once again, this dude could throw the ball 70 yards. He has an absolute cannon for an arm, a very, very good athlete as well. So that excites the heck out of me. Now, tip of the cap to Cade Klubnik, by the way, who, if you live in Austin, if you live in Central Texas, hell, if you live anywhere in Texas, try to find a way to watch this kid play this year, his senior year of high school. This is the last chance you'll ever get to see Cade Klubnik play for cheap, because at Clemson, I think he's going to do big things, and those tickets aren't cheap. And then in the NFL down the road, I think Cade Klubnik is that type of player. His value continues to skyrocket on the recruiting trail. Tip of the cap to him, man. Great kid as well. One more year at Westlake. Go watch that dude play. It's going to be tough for Texas fans, I think, to watch Cade Klubnik over the next few years. Now, the narrative is not the same for Cade Klubnik as it was for Johnny Football or for RG3. Like, this is not Texas didn't offer Cade Klubnik as a quarterback or whatever. But the comparison, fair or not, is always going to be there between Cade Klubnik and Maalik Murphy, because Cade Klubnik's the Austin guy who did not stay home in Austin. Meanwhile, Maalik Murphy is coming to Austin. The thought is that maybe the Texas coaching staff could have made Cade Klubnik a higher priority than it did, but we honestly don't know if that would have made a difference. I mean, we've seen great players from the state of Texas leave the state of Texas to go to Clemson, to go to Bama, to go to Ohio State a lot over the last few years. So even if Texas was 100% all in on Cade Klubnik from day one, I don't know if that would have made a difference, man. I mean, look at the job Dabo's done in Clemson. You look at the quarterbacks that they've developed up there. Trevor Lawrence, of course, just the #1 pick in the draft, and DJ Uiagalelei looks like he could be a top pick in a draft a couple of years from now. I don't blame Cade Klubnik at all, but that comparison is always going to be there. But congrats to him, man. Great kid by all accounts. Once again, Elite 11, Sports Illustrated, 24/7 Sports. He was the most valuable player, the most impressive player at the Elite 11 finals this past weekend. And I did see this. I actually hadn't seen this before, and we'll wrap up on this note. So I read the 24/7 Sports blurb. I think player evaluation is the exact verbiage they use to talk about Maalik Murphy. They also give a player comp, and I hadn't seen this before for some reason. This might be new. The player comp for Maalik Murphy is Jameis Winston, and that should excite the hell out of you. Now, Jameis Winston as a pro, a little bit of a different story, right? Former #1 overall pick, not exactly the career that he or a lot of people would have hoped coming out of college. But in college, talking about a Heisman winner, we're talking about a national champion right there. So if Maalik Murphy can be anything close to Jameis Winston in college, that's a huge, huge win for Texas. I would love for that to be the case. I think every Texas fan would love for that to be the case. The guy behind me, national champion. It'd be nice for Maalik Murphy to be able to find a way to do that. So I thought that player comp was interesting. Jameis Winston, a huge arm, a very good athlete coming out of high school. Obviously had a fantastic college career at Florida State. But yeah, Maalik Murphy, guys, the upside, the potential is through the roof. And by most accounts, he was very, very impressive at the Elite 11 finals in California. I think a lot of Longhorn fans, I think a lot of recruiting folks are going to keep a close eye on Maalik Murphy's senior season of high school. He was once a 5-star, dropped down to a 4-star. Maybe he's got the chance to get back up to a 5-star because of those raw tools that we've talked about. But the statistics, not quite there during games for Maalik Murphy. I think a lot of people want to see more of that. And I think Texas fans would sleep a lot better if they saw Maalik Murphy absolutely ball out this year in his senior year of high school in California. Because once again, the local kid is going to do pretty well. He's got a state championship to his name, and he's got one more year of high school as well. So I want to hear from y'all. Y'all's thoughts on Maalik Murphy, what you heard, what you saw. Maybe you saw some things on YouTube. Maybe you were checking Twitter and saw some highlights from the Elite 11 camp. What's your confidence level for Maalik Murphy, who right now is the 8th-ranked quarterback in the class of 2022, according to 24/7 Sports? Where are you at with him? Should Texas go after another quarterback in this class? I want to hear from y'all. Please comment below. And also, I don't know why I pointed. You guys know where below is. And also, ideas for future videos. Would love to hear from y'all. I do this channel for y'all. I make these videos for the people. So whatever's on your mind or whatever you want me to talk about, please let me know. I will try to do a live chat at some point this week. live Q&A. So be on the lookout for that. Once again, like this video, please, if you haven't done that, and subscribe to this channel as well. Tap that notification bell so you know when I go live and you know whenever I release new content. Once again, this video was brought to you by Last Stand Hats. Use code BK10 at checkout for 10% off your purchase of any Last Stand hat. Thank y'all so much for watching. Listen to the Triple Option with our BKD weekdays from 3 to 7 on the Horn and online at hornfm.com. Should have mentioned that first, but be sure to check us out there. All right, guys, appreciate the love. Until next time, y'all stay safe. Y'all stay healthy.